Chapter 786. Trump also nodded repeatedly at this time. He already knew what it felt like to have a shrewd woman in the house. It felt as though he was constantly treading on thin ice. If there were two shrewd women in the house, then it would not be a home at all. Therefore, he could only harden his heart as he said, "Mom, why don't you give me your bank account number? I will transfer the money over to you right now. Otherwise, you can take your furniture back and we can just ask the porters to move the furniture out of the villa now." Lady Richard was very angry as she pointed her finger at Trump. At this time, she rushed forward to give him a slap across her face. Fortunately, Trump reacted fast enough and he took 2 steps backwards quickly, so the old lady did not manage to hit him. Lady Richard was trembling in anger because of her Trump's attitude. What was even more depressing was the face that she would not have the opportunity to enjoy living in such a huge and luxurious villa. This made her feel so uncomfortable as though a needle was piercing through every single pore in her body. However, there was nothing else that she could do now. She could only glare at Trump as she gritted her teeth angrily and said, "Okay. You're really my great son. From now onwards, we will both have nothing to do with one another at all. I don't want you to come to my funeral even if I were to die." Elaine replied, "That would be perfect, as it would save us a lot of trouble then." "You." Lady Richard coughed violently before she took out her bank card and handed it over to Trump. After that, she yelled, "Transfer the money over to me now. You'd better transfer $1.21 million over to me." Elaine frowned before she asked, "Why should we give you $1.21 million? Didn't we agree on $1.2 million earlier?" Lady Richard replied angrily, "Do you think that I don't need to pay for the trucks and the porters?" Elaine replied coldly, "What has that got to do with us? Why should we pay you extra just because you had to hire a truck and some men to move your furniture for you? Why don't you ask us to pay for the toilet paper that you used to wipe your ass after you shat this morning too? Do you want me to reimburse you for that?" Lady Richard gritted her teeth angrily before she cursed, "You bitch. You are a shrewd woman. I'll tear your filthy mouth apart." As she spoke, the old lady stretched her hand forward to grab Elaine. Elaine was not as polite as Trump was and she simply stretched out her hand to hit the old woman's hand before she said coldly, "What do you think you're doing? Are you trying to hit me? You're right, I am a shrewd woman, but you are not any good either. You're an old shrewd woman who's trying to cause trouble for me in my own home. Do you believe that I will give you a slap across your face now?" After being bullied and looked down on by the old woman for so many years, Elaine had already waited for a long time to get her revenge. She had never had the opportunity to do so in the past, but today was simply a godsend. Lady Richard would never have imagined that Elaine would not be afraid of her at all. However, even though she was very angry, there was nothing that she could do at all. At this time, Trump quickly took out his cell phone to transfer the money over to Lady Richard as soon as possible. After a short while, he told the old lady, "Mom, I've already transferred $1.21 million over to you. Please just check your bank account and leave if there's no problem." Elaine blurted out, "Do you have a lot of money to waste? You could have given me that $10,000 so that I can go to the spa a couple of times. Why did you give the money to her? Aren't you simply throwing the money away for no reason at all?" Trump waved his hands slightly before he said, "Okay, just stop talking already." Lady Richard received a text notification message on her cell phone at this time. When she took her cell phone out, she saw that she had already received $1.21 million in her bank account. She glared coldly at Elaine before she said, "You, the one with name Elaine. You better watch out. I will definitely tear your mouth apart sooner or later." After she was done speaking, Lady Richard said to Harold and Olivia, "Let's go." Harold and Olivia heaved a huge sigh of relief at this time. They had both been very afraid that their second uncle, Trump, would not be firm enough. If he had really agreed to let the old lady move into the villa with them, then it would be over for the family of 3. Fortunately, the old lady did not get her way.